What's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Hartford Whalers throwback series here in NHL 22. So in last episode, we unfortunately lost to the Montreal Canadiens in the second round of playoffs. However, I think we actually had a really good playoffs and we had a really good season in general for our first year in Hartford. I think just the team over-assimilated in a sense. Like, we underscored in the regular season, but then when it came into the playoffs, knocking out Pittsburgh in the first round was pretty impressive. And then taking the Montreal Canadiens to, I think it was 6 games. It was a pretty good series, I'd say, as well with them. And a lot of our big guys kind of actually stepped up in the playoffs. It was our depth scoring that kind of lacked in the playoffs, so that might be something we need to address going forward. But you can see guys like Keith Primo, for example, 14 points in 12 games, almost a goal a game as well. He was fantastic. Andrew Castles was good. But then you get into guys like Kent Manderville, who didn't really do much. But like Sanderson and Stevens and King did good. Caron was okay-ish. And then like the rest of the bottom 6 really struggled, especially guys like Paul Ranheim, who were a -6. Deneen was pretty good as well. Emerson really underperformed. I'd say like that third line and the fourth line really didn't do much for us, but the first 2 lines did. And in our defensive core, 2 of the guys did really well, Wesley and Chason, but everybody else was kind of a bit quiet, I'd say, by comparison. And then goaltending was phenomenal as well. Sean Burke was great, and Jason Mazzotti was good as well. For some reason, it sent him back down to the minors. Yeah, he was phenomenal as well. I think he had like 2 shutouts in the playoffs. So basically, in general, our goaltending was great, and our top 6 was great, and our defensive play was good for the most part, except for, I'd say, like the bottom 2 pairings. So basically what we need to address going forward is probably the depth scoring and get ourselves some better defensemen as well to make this team into a full-on contender. But anyways, before we get into the draft and resign stage, I do have a number of comments to go through. Well, actually 2 of them. The first one is from Saturn Otaku, who says, Blues played the Canadiens in the 68 and 69 finals. Kind of neat to see that matchup take place here, which I agree with. So the St. Louis Blues won the Stanley Cup in this. Montreal was kind of a surprise actually getting even into the playoffs, I think, because I'm pretty sure in real life they didn't actually get to the playoffs in 97, or if they did, they were like a first round exit, but they managed to get to the finals in this. But St. Louis getting to the finals kind of makes sense in an extent, because you got guys like Brett Hull over there, so that team is actually pretty good. And yeah, Grant Fuhr also stood on his head apparently for the Blues in that playoff run, so there you can see that they took the Montreal Canadiens out in 6 games. They also took out like Colorado, which is a big one. They also took out Dallas and the Edmonton Oilers. And the last and final comment is from HawksFan88, or HockeyGuy88 he calls himself now. He says, tough series, I would go with Inglis as your first pick, or with your first pick. So he's talking about John Inglis. I like to call him Johnny English just because it sounds kind of close to that movie. I never watched that movie myself, but that's exactly what I thought of when I heard John Inglis, because it sounds like Johnny English. So there he is, 5'10", 172. He could be an elite potential player, but I really doubt it. He is 3 years out, so he's probably a top 6 forward, but he should be pretty solid around, it looks like, in terms of like offense and whatnot. It's just his size obviously not that great, so his physical play probably won't be that good, but he should have some solid skating, I guess. He should have some good shooting and whatnot as well. So we are definitely going to draft John Inglis with our first pick if we get the opportunity to, because he could go as high as 26, it looks like, but he could go as far back as 30. So we're drafting 27, so there is a good chance we could get him, as long as the AI team of E4us doesn't take him instead. So let's anyways get into this draft and see what we could pick up for prospects, because we pretty much need prospects in all areas, as well as every other NHL team does too. So it should be interesting to see what everybody picks up for their forward core, their defensive core, and all that type of thing for the future. You might see a lot of these prospects that get drafted get thrown into the lineup right away as well. So okay, so Sweden's got the first overall pick, which means Joe Thornton's going to be going there. Patrick Marleau's going to go to New Jersey. Marian Hossa might go to Germany. And then Brian Campbell, those type of guys, to the Islanders, my guess, unless something changes. And then, yeah, we're drafting all the way at number 27, I think. Yep, 27th. So hopefully we can get Johnny English there. That's going to be his nickname, just because why not? Even though Johnny English is literally Rowan Atkinson, who plays Mr. Bean, so kind of a weird one. But yeah, let's see what Sweden takes at number 1. They are going to take Joe Thornton, 80 overall playmaker, high elite potential. So it is going to take him a little bit to develop, but he's already listed as a third-line scoring forward. there's a look at his stats. He's not the greatest out of the gate always because, like, in real life, he didn't have the best rookie season. But eventually, after a while, he became a really good player. Like, once that offensive awareness goes up, that passing's already really good. He should become a very solid passer and all that type of thing with all those X factors. So there's Joe Thornton going to Sweden. New Jersey at number 2, are going to take Patrick Marleau, 79 power forward, medium elite potential. There he is. That's what he looks like. And there's his X factors as well. So that's what I made for Patrick Marleau. Should be interesting to see what he does in New Jersey with guys like Martin Brodeur and whatnot. So maybe New Jersey has a very good top line center for the future to make them maybe more of an offensive team, because they were a really defensive team when Brodeur and whatnot were there. So Germany at number 3 is going to take Marian Hossa, 72, medium elite power forward. The reason he's only a 72 is just because it took him a while before he actually made the NHL in real life, but he is listed as a depth forward already, so there is a chance that Germany actually might use him in the lineup right away, or play him in the AHL for that matter if they want to. But he was playing in the WHL, so he's probably not eligible, but there is a chance that they might use him as soon as possible. The Islanders at number 4 are going to take Brian Campbell, 68 overall, high top 4. I'd say that's a pretty good player for the future for them to build around. I don't know why his defensive awareness is better than his offensive awareness, because I don't think I did that, because I'm pretty sure I made him more of an offensive defenseman. But yeah, there's his X factors as well. Should be a pretty good player for the Islanders to build up that defensive core around. And finally, at number 5, the AI is going to take a medium elite defenseman. So Cedric Knighty, this is an AI generated guy. He goes to the Future Star, so that's a very good one for them to pick up. Good one to build up that defensive core around and that team around. So that's a good one there. I'm surprised that Brian Campbell still went 4th then, because they honestly could have taken the better potential and overall. And but they decided to go with the guy I made instead. So that's kind of interesting. So there is your top 5 in the 1997 NHL draft. Let's sim up to our pick at 27, and we should be able to get Ingles, it looks like. Hopefully he's a top 6 forward, not a top 9 forward, because the top 9 forward wouldn't be the best, but I mean they could still pan out. So it looks like he does have some X factors as well, which is good. So welcome to the Hartford Whalers, John Ingles. Let's see how good you are. And he is a top 6 forward, nice, 65 overall playmaker. No X factors, which is kind of but I mean he's got good potential, got a good overall. He should be able to play in our AHL team right away, which is good, because we definitely need some younger guys to get in there, because obviously we have no prospects at the moment. So skating is pretty decent. Physical is, yeah, definitely not that good. Only a 1-star physical player, but solid shooting. It's not the best offensive awareness yet, but it will go up. And yeah, solid puck skills. But in general, he's a really good skater, is his main draw right now. But in general, he's all around a solid player, despite his physical play not being there. He's probably never going to become a really physical player. But still, he is definitely going to play in our AHL team right away, because I would like to get in those prospects as soon as possible, just to wean out a lot of those European AHLers that I always put in. So that is John Ingles. Let's see what we could take in the second round now. See if we could take anything nice here. Oh yeah, Mika Norinen's still available, because David Abisher went near the end of the first round. There's Gustav Lebedev, maybe 5 years out. Thomas Bemstrom, don't know anything about. Looks like our scouts didn't do the best job. Dmitry Tikhonov seems actually really intriguing though. This is an AI generated guy who's 4 years out. He might be a starter potentially. He's got no weakness. I honestly might go with the goaltender, because even though we do have Jaguar, we don't really have another goalie behind him, because I don't know if Legacy is going to be that future goaltender. There's also Nikolai Morozov, who apparently has no weakness and is 5 years out and is listed as a gem. So I don't know if he's medium elite or low elite or what. He might be intriguing as well. 6'4", 190. The question is, do I go with the goalie or do I go with another left winger? So you probably need to build up that forward core a bit, but I also kind of do like the idea of getting another goaltender. Because he guaranteed has good strengths in his angles. He might as well in breakaway and poise. His reflexes are almost at a B-. Like, he actually might be really good in all these areas except for his puck control. Or do I just go with a gem? I honestly have no idea about this guy though. Like, this guy might not be that good. Like, he's got, it's guaranteed no weakness. Good teammate utilization, but that's pretty much all I know. And I know that he's a guaranteed 5 years out, so he's going to be a low overall, but he might have a good potential. So I think I'm going to go with the goaltender just because I feel like Morozov being 5 years out, I don't know if he'll make it by the end of this franchise mode. Well, Tikhonov, maybe he becomes a goalie at some point for us. So let's go with Dmitry Tikhonov as our second round pick. And he's going to be a medium fridge starter only. Damn, that sucks. 59 overall, so maybe that wasn't a great pick, but that's weird. I mean, he's pretty balanced. He's very athletic, I should say, at this point, which is good. But I don't know if he's going to become anything huge, but at least that gives us a goalie prospect other than just Jaguar and Legacy at the moment. Let me actually see how good that other guy was in Mikhanov, if he is actually supposed to go in the second round here. Oh, wow. Bobkov was medium elite. Damn, well, he missed out on a medium elite center. That sucks. I don't know if he would have developed that well, but damn, that sucks. Pedersen was also medium elite. Are you kidding me? I don't know who went on the last part. Is that other guy still there? Let's see. View draft class. Is Morozov still there, or did he go already? Nope, he's still there. I want to see how good he is first, since he was a gem. High fringe starter in Peros. Yelkinen goes. Burmistrov in Russia's probably going to take Morozov. Yep. Medium top 6. Okay, so this guy actually had some good potential, but I don't really know if he would have made it. Probably not, my guess. We're not going to be trading away any picks just because I don't want to... I want to have some good prospects in, so... Matthias Lack, don't really need another goalie in the draft. We could go with, like, Lundmark, maybe 5 years out. Rick Neal. Weakness and character, I don't like that necessarily. We should maybe just draft ourselves a defenseman so we get a player in each position. This guy's got no weakness as well. Yeah, you know what? Let's go with Marvin Ramsey. He can play both positions, lefty and right D, so why not? Welcome aboard, Marvin. And he is a low top 4 offensive defenseman, 51 overall. We have seen low top 4 potential offensive defenseman pan out before, like Morgan Griffin in Houston. So who knows? Maybe this guy can be something good. If he is, that would be nice. But if not, then oh well. But gives us a defensive prospect at least for our system. And a lot of these guys I'm probably going to just sign to their ELC as right away as possible. Just because might as well get some of them into the AHL. This guy has no weakness but no strength. What the heck? I think that's the first time I've seen that. Strengths, none. Weakness, none. So, what is he? Just an average player? I'm going to take him just for the intrigue there. He might be medium top 9. So, Dylan Getzlav, welcome aboard. And he's a medium bottom 650 overall playmaker. Yikes. Yeah, this draft class has really dropped off, but that's weird that this guy had no strengths and no weaknesses. Next pick. Oh, wow. AHL starting goalies in low 7th D's going. Yeah, this is a really bad draft class. I think the first few drafts are going to be terrible just because of the fact that I nullified a lot of the players and stuff in it. So, might as well go with Dennis Kwong here since this is no weakness again. I'll take a risk with that. Low 7th D, 57. See, some of these guys might end up making it at some point, but I don't really know. Or maybe they'll become trade bait because who knows, maybe the AI teams would actually want to trade for that. In our last pick of the draft, since we do not have a 7th rounder, wasn't there a guy I pinned or something like that for this stage, I think? No, there was not. What do we pick with our last pick of the draft? Jason DeMello actually might have good shooting. He almost elite speed apparently, and no weakness. That's intriguing. He's probably going to be like an top 6 forward, but he's probably going to be like a player with some good shooting and stuff. So, you know what? Let's take Jason DeMello as our last pick in this draft. Low bottom 6, 54 overall sniper. He does have really good power in his shot, so I could see why he looked like that. He's probably not going to pan out, but if he does, we could honestly play him in the AHL if we want to, and he should score some goals, I would assume, with that type of shot power. So we'll see how good he ends up doing. And that is our entire draft for the 2022, I guess, or 1997 draft. Our first pick being John Inglis. Then we get the goaltender Tikhonov. We also get Ramsey, Getzlav, Kwong, and DeMello. Let's just go by round for a second just to see where those other guys I made went, because I'm kind of curious on that. Luongo went to the Leafs. Ew. That is disgusting. Well, Roberto Luongo, hopefully you like winning a Stanley Cup. What else we got here? David Abisher went to the Sweden team in the second round. What else we got here? We're looking for those other goaltenders I made. Anybody else that I see? Mika Norrinen also went to Sweden. So Abisher and Norrinen, the future goaltenders for that Sweden team. Interesting. And that might be it, to be honest. So actually, Johan Holmqvist goes to Tampa Bay like he did in real life in a sense, but he actually was drafted, I believe, by the Rangers. So, but he did just go to a team that he actually played for. Scott Clemenson goes to the Los Angeles Kings, and I think that's it for goalies I added, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think that's it for the draft, so that's kind of interesting. Okay, let's get to the resign stage now. Nobody gave me any feedback for the resign stage on who to resign and who not to. So I'm probably just going to bring everybody back, and then maybe some of them will end up traded in next episode. So we'll see on that. We'll resign our USA West scout, because why not? What else we got? Wasn't there another scout? No, there was only that guy, right? Yeah, I think it was only that guy. Okay, so that is good. Let's get into this resign stage. Should be a pretty easy resign stage for the most part. Let's go to our phase, and we will resign. That's a bit expensive. I'm gonna qualify Joel Bouchard, but I will definitely be resigning him for sure, because we need him for sure at this rate. We'll resign Legacy as well. And then now we get to the main guys. Andrew Castles, what do you want? 6 years at 7.5, huh? I do like Andrew Castles. I think he's a very important piece of this team for 6 years. He'd be playing till he's 33, I guess. That's not terrible. I could drop it down in term a little bit. I'm gonna do, I think, a 5-year deal just to play it a little bit safe. See if he'll accept that, because we want to keep Andrew Castles, I think. Derek King is another one of these interesting players. Had a good season. What does he want? 6 years as well. A lot of these guys want a lot of term. I don't want to give King too much term because of his age already. So I will give him only a 1-year deal for now, I think, just to play it safe, because he can honestly get replaced. And then we'll try and re-sign all these AHL kind of guys, I think, or well, a good amount of them. Actually, not all of them. Yeah, we'll let go of the worst ones. So we'll let go of like Bergman. We'll let go of Johansson to make room for some of these guys that we just drafted. Yeah. Just because we want to get all our drafted guys into the AHL if we can. Carson wants a one-way deal, which I'm, I guess, okay with, because we were using him as a depth piece in the NHL. So just want to have some of these guys being able to play on our NHL team if need be. Okay, let's continue on that. But yeah, hopefully a lot of our young prospects could do pretty good down there in the minors. Because if they have some good seasons, then we could get some of our young prospects into the NHL team as fast as possible. Trying to offer a lot of these guys one-year deals just in case. Mazzotti, I would like to keep you around. You want $1 million, but how good is Jaguar at this stage? He's pretty much ready to be the backup. I will still sign Mazzotti just in case, but only to a 1-year deal. He might play in the AHL, but we'll see. And then that means I can let go of a couple of these goalies. Yeah, I'm gonna let go of those goalies just because I wanted that guy I just drafted to play in the AHL. So that should be good. Let's go to unsigned players. Sign Mr. Inglis for the AHL. We'll sign all these guys just because a lot of them don't have potential, so might as well throw them into the fire as soon as possible for the AHL team. And we'll make sure they get some playing time next season over the other guys. And there we go. Perfect. Okay, so there's all the unsigned guys. Bouchard's qualified, that's good. And then we're just waiting on to see if Castles and King accept in him. Hopefully a lot of the AHL type of guys accept as well. Let's advance the day, see if King and Castles accept, because those are the big ones. Mazzotti accepts, King accepts, Castles accepts, so that's good. That's all the NHL players, I think. Let's go through that quickly. Okay, a couple guys are rejecting in the AHL, but I might be able to let them go. I'm going to let go of Valentine, and I am going to try and re-sign these guys to a little bit more in the AHL just so they accept. Just to keep that AHL team at least somewhat decent so the young guys can get as much offense going as they can. Bouchard's qualified. Since we have no cap max, we might as well just give him what he wants. But I will give him a 1-year deal instead of a 2-year deal, just because I don't think he's worth really a whole lot. 1 year at 1.1, we'll see if he accepts that, and then we should be good to get to the free agent stage, which I will show you guys like free agency. There you go. And I also show you guys the trading block and all that type of thing. And then we'll get set up for next episode, because next episode we'll assign some players and we'll start up the season simulation and see how the team does. But yeah, let's into free agency. I wonder who's going to be available in free agency. Wonder if any big guys are going to escape through the cracks. So first, let's take a look at what we have on our NHL roster and what we kind of need. So right now we do got 3 centers, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 roster players. Stu Grimson dropped off a lot. Damn. But there's 9 technically. 10, 11, 12. Technically, we don't need a forward. We could always trade somebody away if we want to upgrade our forward core a little bit more, or defensive core. Defensively, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We could upgrade the defensive core a bit as well. Just we'd have to probably trade away somebody, I'd assume. And then goalie-wise, we're pretty much good on goaltenders, so I don't really know what we need. I'd say we probably could use a defenseman out of everything, and maybe some better depth scoring, because that hurt us in the playoffs. Guys like Paul Ranheim didn't really show up. Manderville, that type of thing, so maybe we could upgrade from them. But if like guys like Jeff O'Neill get some growth, we could do pretty decent. Or we could try and trade away somebody like Nelson Emerson to upgrade our forward core a bit, or even Stephen Rice, that type of thing. So there is that. Let's take a look at what's available in free agency, and then we'll also take a look at the trading block just in case there's any potential trades out there. So let's start off with the top centers. Is Smolinski an RFA? No, he's UFA. Okay, that's good. Let's just go by... Actually, we'll just leave it at UFA and RFA. So, the best centerman available is Brian Smolinski, it looks like. Actually, never mind. Igor Larionov is the best center available. But he is pretty damn old, 37 years of age, so he will be dropping off probably. Dale Howardchuk is also there, which is pretty cool. Brian Smolinski, Craig Conroy and Brian Smolinski, one of those two guys would be pretty good to bring in for the center core, but I don't know. How many points did they have last year? Smolinski almost had 50 points, it looks like, or around 50 points. Craig Conroy had 60 points. Wow, Craig Conroy had a phenomenal season and 15 points in the playoffs with the Blues, who won the Stanley Cup. So Craig Conroy honestly might be my favorite option right here, even though he wants $7 million. It's a bit of an overpayment, but what else we got here? Denny Savard, 1 year left because he's old. Same with Inchek. Straka's available. That's interesting. Darren Turcotte, as well as Nemchinov. Yeah, there's some really good options out there. Brian Rolston, I believe, is an RFA, I saw. Yeah, Brian Rolston's an RFA currently. But a lot of older veteran type of players mostly, but there is some solid young players, so that's pretty decent. And then it drops off a cliff after that, so that's it for centers available. Left wing-wise, the best is Magnus Arvidsson. And then Miroslav Shatan, who is an RFA. Brian Bellows is also there. Nicholas Anderson, Esa Tikkanen, Sylvain Turgeon. A lot of old guys, it seems like, mostly. But there is some pieces that you could bring in to help out, like the bottom six. Like Brett Harkins actually is not that bad. 37 points. More of a physical player, I think, or actually defensive bottom sixer, but maybe not. He actually might be intriguing. Yeah, there's definitely some options out there. Joe Dzidek from the Pittsburgh Penguins. Donald Brashear. Just because we totally need another enforcer to join Stu Grimson. Nick Kyprios is back there, the former Hartford Whaler player. And Chris King is there. Yeah, there's a lot of options out there. A lot of enforcers were just dropped to free agency and not re-signed. That's actually kind of funny. Literally every enforcer I made, I think, in this roster build got dropped. Huh. Interesting. The best right winger is Mariusz Strakowski. He was an 84 overall. Yari Curry's available. Keith Jones. Yeah, a lot of these free agents are pretty old, so we would probably go for the younger type of guys like Vuctek, for example, or Mike Craig, if we wanted to bring some players in on the forward core. But I don't know if the forward core is really the problem. Yeah, every single enforcer I made, I think, got dropped. Like Brant Myers even got dropped, and he's 23. He's a UFA as well, probably because he's a 74 now. He was, I believe, a higher overall before that. And then defensively, the best defenseman there, if we want to upgrade our defensive core, Gary Galley. Not bad. 43 points in the regular season, 2 points in the playoffs. Solid veteran there. Also, Robert Svala is available. Oleg Tverdovsky is probably an RFA. Yep, RFA. Konstantinov's there. Adrian Coyne's an RFA. Igor Kravchuk, Darian Hatcher, Sean Chambers. Yeah, there's some pretty good defensemen out there if we want to upgrade the defense score a bit. We can move somebody out and bring somebody in. A lot of RFAs, I think, as well, out of the mix. Yeah, and all the enforcer defensemen as well got dropped. That's kind of funny. And then in terms of goaltending, even though we don't need goalie really, Andy Moog is the best available. Chris Osgood is testing free agency instead of Mike Vernon. So I guess Mike Vernon got extended. That's interesting. Also, Arturs Urbe's there. Darcy Wakalek, Rick Tabarachi, John Casey, Glenn Healy. There's some solid goalies out there as well, but we don't really need one. Byron Defoe, who doesn't look like he's going to pan out in this. Yeah, there's tons of options out there. Interesting. Okay, final thing, let's take a look at the trading block, and then that'll be it for this episode, just to see what is out there, in case we want to make any trades. So Anaheim has just some prospects on the block. Okay, don't really care too much about the prospects. Just looking for the real players at this stage on the block. Dave Gagne is on the block, but he's making a lot of money, so he must have got an extension or something. 85, that's a pretty good center to bring in, but we don't really need him, I don't think. What else we got here? Anything else? Vladimir Rizika, 3 years at 800K for an 85 is pretty good. Joseph Baranek, 1 year at 800K, he's also pretty decent. Pat Verbeek, Greg Adams, Guy Carbonneau, Dave Reed, and Brent Gilchrist are all on the block. So Dallas looks like they'll offload a lot of stuff after losing last year in the playoffs to the St. Louis Blues. Kelly Buchberger is also on the block. He's the only enforcer that might have a contract at this stage. Florida, nothing. Nothing there. Germany, LA, nothing. Nothing there. Ken Danico's on the block. That's actually a pretty decent defenseman. Very good defensively. He had somehow 13 points, which is kind of weird. Very physical, but yeah, he's pretty good defensively. So, I mean, if we wanted to bring in a pure defensive defenseman, Ken Danico is pretty decent for that. What else do we got here? Oh, that Drury guy. I was looking at drafting this guy, I think. Yeah, I was looking at drafting this guy, but he's not really that good, apparently. Islanders have nothing. Rangers have John Cullen on the block, but he's getting paid a lot. Jeff Bookaboom is also there. If you want somebody that could throw a lot of hits, Jeff Bookaboom is your guy. Bruce Driver, Ulf Samuelsson. Yeah, there's definitely some options out there if we do want to make a trade, but we could always just sign with the things we need instead. Bob Corkham's there, Dallas Drake, Darren Shannon, I think, or is that Daryl? Darren, that's what I thought. Pittsburgh's got nothing, Russia's got nothing, San Jose's got nothing. St. Louis has Scott Polarin on the block, that's not bad. Yeah, actually, that's not bad. It seems like everybody in St. Louis did really well last year. 11 points in the playoffs. Damn. Scott Polarin would be a pretty good piece for the bottom six, it seems like. Yarmo Mills, who's really terrible. Nothing there in Toronto, nothing there in Vancouver or Washington. So that is what is on the block. And that's pretty much what we could potentially go after in next episode. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Hartford Whalers franchise mode. So in next episode, we will take it to free agency. We might sign some pieces if you guys think there's anything out there that will help out this team and make it somewhat realistic. Also, if there's anything trading-wise, let me know down below in the comments, because maybe I'll make some trades to change up this team a little bit and try and get that depth scoring to be in a decent for the playoffs, because I think that was our main concern in the playoffs last year, is the lack of depth scoring. So let me know what you think down below, and I'll see you guys next time.